it going? Welcome back to the channel. Jujubear here. We are playing Total War Rome 2 in one of my new favorite maps actually. It's a map in Alexandria. I can give you guys the exact locations and coordinates. But this is a battle I played with a couple of the guys from the AVA clan. Namely, I've got AVA Granitor on my side. We're playing as the Syracuse players. And on the other team, we've got AVA Conceivable playing alongside, I think, TF Plogs. I can't remember his name actually. But yeah, he's a TJ Plox or something like that. We called him TJ for short. So me and Granitor have got the Syracuse, and they have got the Athenians. So it's going to be a lot of hoplites. There's max 3 swords as one of the only rules, and also no art. What we've done here, I'm just going to put it into slow motion, is brought a lot of hoplites. So we can see one Athenian citizen cav up here. Now Granitor's build involves mercenary Italian cavalry, 2 or 3 of them up on this flank, backed up by Thrace and light hoplites. He's got thorax hoplites, 1, 2, 3, 4 thorax hoplites. A couple of Samnite warriors. It looks like he's got 3 in total. In the center here, he's got mercenary veteran hoplites and a thorax hoplite general. Up the back, he's got 2 slingers there, another slinger here, and another slinger over there. Now, my build is a little bit very similar, actually, pretty similar to what he's brought. I brought thorax hoplites, a line of them up the front. I think it's 6 to be exact. Then I've got 3 Samnite warriors following them up, and 2 Thrace spears out in the flank. Mercenary Italian cav, one's out in that flank and one's over here. I've got 2 Balearic slingers and 2 javelin men, and also a picked hoplite general. So there's a lot of wood cover in this map, so it really seemed to be quite useful to bring less cav and more infantry. So what you're going to see is that a little bit more of like a grind kind of gameplay. We'll be playing a little bit slower and a little bit slower build up, and the combat will last for a little bit longer. So starting off the battle, we can see the picked hoplite general. I think that's TJ Flops over there. I just know I've got that name wrong. And I'm probably going to get shit for it. But yeah, they're both in the same team, so either way, that's all good. So we've formed up a pretty long line here. I think Granitor was expecting there to be some enemies in this location, but it looks like we've uncovered a whole bunch of units out in this flank. And pretty soon you're going to see a whole bunch of units come out of the woods just here. So we're going to see an engagement over on this flank. I've got my Italian cavalry, both of them out in this flank. I'm hoping to engage his citizen cav, which I probably will win that engagement. But I want to be able to back up these engagements with Thrace spears and that kind of thing. So I'm bringing a javelin man over. I've got a Thrace hoplite firing in some volleys. But he's bringing in more citizen cav. And you can see just the sheer amount of like troops that are coming out of the woods here. We've got picked hoplites, a couple of Rhodian slingers here, one slinger, militia hoplites, a line of Thrace spears, so I should be able to beat them in combat with my thorax hoplites. There's a couple of these thorax swordsmen over here, thorax hoplites, picked hoplites, lots of picked hoplites, thorax hoplites, light hoplites, militia hoplites. So our opponent is hoping to overload this flank and kind of hold us in the center, it looks like. So he has engaged with the picked hoplite general, and while there's just little bits of cav over on this flank that's just kind of holding Granitor up. So at this point I was like, holy shit balls, I need some help over on this flank. We're managing to finish off one citizen cav, which is good. I'm holding up the rest over here. I do have a javelin man that's going to be firing into this engagement, killing off those citizen cav. But I desperately need some kind of help, because there's lots of picked hoplites over here. Their stats are a lot better than any normal thorax hoplite. Well, not a whole lot better, but the melee attack is a fair bit better. So what I've done is I put a lot of my units into hoplite wall, and there are going to be little gaps forming. So what I'm using is my mercenary Samnite warriors to kind of shoot these gaps and engage his thorax swordsman. I probably will win in those engagements with my mercenary Samnite warriors, because they have pretty amazing armor and that kind of thing. So yeah, you can see he is making breakthroughs with his cavalry, and he's going to come and chase down my javelin man at some point. I really should be pulling out my Italian cav over here. That was no good from me. Popping units into hoplite wall. I do have my 3 spears lined up, and it looks like I'm firing on his slingers, killing them off with my own Balearics. So Granitor's brought his Italian cavalry over, and he's crashing into the back of a couple of these different units. It looks like he's coming over to reinforce, but a lot of these units are very far away, so not a whole lot of support for me, especially on this flank. But luckily we're coming up against a lot of spear units, which are going to take a long time to kill off anything, really. So I have engaged these Thorax Hoplites with my picked Hoplites, and I'm going to bring a Mercenary Sand Knight Warrior over to defeat this Citizen Cav. Get a nice Javelin there, and I'm going to have to keep pulling back with that Javelin. Over here, he's going to chase me with his Citizen Cav. So yeah, you can see our opponent's just wrapping around here. Now, with this battle, I was hoping to get the jump on my opponent using different angles. So I got a Balearic Slinger and this Thoraeus Spear firing into the back of this Thorax Swordsman that's managed to get around our flank. And it's now attacking this Thorax Hoplite, but it's not going to last very long with that much fire coming into the back of it. With this Balearic Slinger, I believe, what am I firing at? I'm firing into the rear of this Thoraeus Hoplite, because it did manage to get into the back of these Sand Knight Warriors, and they'll be able to hold up for quite a bit. But I want to make sure that I can help the situation along a little bit. I do have my Sand Knight Warriors free after killing off this Citizen Cav, so I'm going to send them straight off into these Militia Hoplites, hopefully kill them off. It looks like he's going to do a bit of a switcheroo, pull back one unit, and bring this picked Hoplites in, so I'm going to have to change targets here, just so I get a nice charge applied. I don't think the Sand Knight Warriors have the best charge, really. 25, yeah. They should be okay in an extended melee with those units. Over here, we've got a Veteran Hoplite up against a picked Hoplite, so I'm using my Javelin to fire into the back of these picked Hoplites. Some very cost-effective kills happening there. Granitor's wrapping around, getting some pretty nice engagements where he's got swords against spears. So all these engagements will probably go quite nicely for him. So you can see how far he's had to run though to try and support me. So yeah, you can see his Thorax Hoplite coming here to see if it can help out in any of these engagements. This picked Hoplite has gone into Hoplite Wall, and they're probably going to last for a very long time if I can't do something about it. 152 men left. Combat's even for now. We're going to thrash these light Hoplites, but he runs the gap very intelligently with his Citizen Cav. So our opponent's doing a really good job at threading different gaps. That was pretty incredible, being able to fit a Citizen Cav through this tiny little gap here. That was very impressive. And he's going to get in here and kill off a lot of these slingers and Balearic slingers and that kind of thing. So definitely not great from us. Over here, I've got a Balearic slinger firing into the flank of this, what is it? A Militia Hoplite. So they're going to drop fairly quickly. It's into their shielded side, unfortunately, but it doesn't matter. We're going to get the kills anyway. This Thoraeus Spear's in square formation just to hold it up for a while. Over on this flank, I still have a Balearic Slinger that's coming back into the fight. And over here, we are holding up a whole bunch of units. These Veteran Hoplites will smash the Militia Hoplites and Citizen Cav. Granitor's putting them into Hoplite Wall there. So all across the board, we have managed to use a couple of units fairly well, but it's only now that our opponents kind of realize that they have a couple of units here. So there's these slingers, 4 of them, that he has not yet activated just yet. So I know this color scheme is like pretty confusing to look at for now, but there's just a lot of blue. So the yellow outlines are my units, and it looks like we're still doing quite well. We're going to get a rear charge on these Militia Hoplites, just see if we can break them. And indeed, we are going to put a pretty nasty morale shock on those units. They're not very good by any means. These slingers still working their magic on these picked Hoplites. And it's about now that he's just broken through the Mercenary Sand Knight Warriors that were on this flank. So there's a lot of units coming into this battle here. Thoraeus Hoplites, picked Hoplites, Thorax Hoplites, picked Hoplites. Lots of very useful troops that have been kind of poured into this fight here. I have managed to pull this battle back a little bit. These picked Hoplites have been a lot of their number have actually dropped very quickly. And I've still got 125 units left in this Sand Knight Warrior here. Yeah, so I think they're actually in shield wall, but it's not showing up with the thinger there. Nice charge into these Pictopotes with the mercenary veterans. If only we could get around the flanks. I think he's got Italian cav coming around the flanks to smash into the back of these units. These light Hoplites are going to get shredded pretty quickly. He has got Thoraeus Hoplites here firing right into the back of my Pictopotes. Very nice use of these Thoraeus spears here from our opponent. I think this was conceivable. Oh no, it was TJ. TJ flops. TJ flops, that's the one. I'm probably wrong. So they're exhausted being shot in the back. This is definitely not good for my general here. They are fighting in the shade, however. But it doesn't matter when you got a whole bunch of spears sticking out of your back, and it looks like they're about to drop now. So don't think my general has died just yet. But now I'm going to kind of start reinforcing with different units, that kind of thing. But it doesn't really matter. We've already managed to win in the center here. You know, Granitor's managed to kind of overwhelm this flank, and we've managed to hold pretty strong all along here with our different units. But these Sand Knight Warriors doing an excellent job against these Pictopotes. Didn't realize that they would be able to do that much work on them. These Italian cav going to come in here and mop up these slingers that were left unchecked for pretty much most of the match. We've got little engagements happening across the board. These Pictopotes coming up against Thorax Hoplites. I've got a mercenary Sand Knight Warrior that's going to come into the back of these Pictopotes, and no, that's right. I just applied their Precursor Javelin into the back of those units, and I'm going to turn them around, and what am I going for here? Yeah, I think I'm going to throw them into this fight against these Thoraeus Spears. Because I want to save Granitor's general. I don't want them to die off too fast. Just because I've already lost my general, and if he loses his, then we're probably going to get a fairly bad morale penalty here. These Thorax Hoplites getting a nice charge into the back of these Thorax Hoplites. Just a big old Hoplite fest. Lots of Hoplites being thrown around at this point. Bringing up my Balearic Slings. I think they're out of ammo here. Yep, that's right. So I'm just going to make sure I can keep them alive. I'm just going to put it in forward here. This, for whatever reason, this was a pretty laggy battle. Me and Granitor were hoping to bring this to you guys as a live co-commentary. Or not a live commentary, just a normal co-commentary. But for whatever reason, it was fairly laggy for most of the match. Even this replay was lagging out pretty bad. So we've got these Pictopotes being attacked, facing up with the charge against these Thorax Hoplites. They're probably going to get ripped down at any point now, especially with these Javelin men and Slingers firing into their rear. Going to send my Javelin men in, see if I can get a couple of kills here. They're going to get destroyed though. And all across the board, it's kind of just wearing down different engagements, so that kind of thing. So I'm just going to put it in fast forward for now. Oh, so laggy. It may have just been the number of units on the field, because it was a large funds battle, but then again, I always play large funds battles. And the amount of units on the field usually doesn't affect the gameplay or the frame rate. So nice battle. We had, yeah, TJF Plox or whatever. So Avia Conceivable, TJ, Avia Granitor. Granitor got some very nice kills on his cavalry there. Didn't expect that. The swords here doing a fairly good job, getting lots of kills there. Though the Thorax Hoplites are always going to do quite nicely, I reckon. You put them in most engagements and they're going to do quite nice. Mercenary Veteran Hoplites doing quite well. They got a lot of killing potential, but I suppose most of the killing potential in any of these armies are going to be mostly in the skirmishes. You see a couple of kills in those Rhodian Slingers there. Pictopotes doing quite well. Conceivable had a lot of these Pictopotes, and every single one got over 100 kills there, so pretty nice stuff there. Slingers not being used until late game. But yeah, my units, it was mostly my Sand Knight Warriors that did the killing, but a couple of these Thorax Hoplites had some pretty nice engagements up against stuff like the Reyes spears, where they kind of just sliced and diced the enemy. Lots of kills in those Balearic Slingers, 235, so 1 XP Chevron. Anyway, thanks boys for the game. We're going to be coming up with some more very, very soon, so stay tuned. But until then, we'll see you guys later. Jujubear signing out. Peace.